4 Saiyans charges at Cell, with Cell doing the same. Cell would easily knock away Vegeta, Caulifla, and future Caulifla. Gohan would start to tear Cell apart. He pretty much gives Cell the same beatdown like in canon, but it's more brutal. He would punch Cell, making him spit out Android 18. Gohan wouldn't let up though, as he keeps torturing the bio-android. He would have eventually made Cell spit up Android 17, and now Cell was in his imperfect form. Instead of trying to blow himself up, he is terrified of Gohan's power, so he would scream out solar flare as he blinds everyone. Cell would fly up towards space, knowing that Saiyans can't breathe up there, he would be safe. Once Gohan gets his vision back, he looks up to see Cell running away like a little rat. Gohan would start to charge up a Kamehameha. As Cell made it to the atmosphere, he thinks he is safe due to him leaving the planet, but he sensed something coming right at him. He looks behind him to see a massive blast coming straight towards him. He tries to dodge the blast, but it's too late. He gets consumed and immediately disintegrated. Gohan looks up at the sky, smiling, knowing that he avenged his father and friends. Shinron would be summoned, and they would make the same wishes like in canon. Goku would also stay dead. The future warriors would thank everyone for their help, and they would go back to their timeline. They would defeat their androids, and once Cell appeared, they would also defeat him. During the 7-year time skip, everyone would have been able to reach Super Saiyan 2. Fasha has been wanting to go back into space. She has been missing the old days of traveling into the new worlds and experiencing the universe. And now, since she ain't being forced to conquer worlds, she'll actually be able to help the universe and someone become like a space pirate. So, she would go to Bulma to see if she could build her a ship. Bulma says that it would take her a few days, and once Bulma finishes the ship, Fasha would thank her. Before Fasha left, she would say her goodbyes to everyone. Both Kale and Caulifla would be the most sad to see one of their friends leaving, but Fasha would say to Kale how she would tell her her adventures and would bring her something back. For Caulifla, she would tell her how she would get stronger on her adventure. By the time she comes back, she'll probably even be stronger than Caulifla. Caulifla would say how she won't be slacking on Earth, and she'll also be getting stronger. The two would fist bump, and Fasha would give Kale a hug. She would leave Earth as she starts her adventure. 7 years would go by, and Gohan in this timeline would have actually kept up with his training. This is thanks to Caulifla wanting him to stay in shape. She only does this because Goku died knowing Gohan was strong enough to protect the Earth, and she would also remind Gohan of that. So Gohan, not wanting his father's death to be for nothing, he kept up with his training. Videl would still blackmail Gohan into joining the world tournament, so Gohan would invite everyone, and Goku would be coming back for a day. Once the tournament comes around, it would honestly go the same, with Gohan getting his energy taken. Due to Gohan being stronger though, Spopovich and Yambu would be able to gather a bit more energy. They would leave, as the group would soon follow them. Once they find Babdi's ship, Deborah would still kill Kibito and would spit on Krillin, Piccolo, and Caulifla. The rest of the group would go into Babdi's ship, as they easily dealt with Preepy and Yakon. Gohan would fight Deborah. Due to Gohan keeping up with his training, he easily defeats the Demon King. Before he can kill Deborah, Deborah would retreat back to Babidi. He would tell Babidi to sense Vegeta's heart. So this would result into Vegeta turning into Majin Vegeta. Babidi would also notice something else with someone. It's Kale. He reads her mind, and it seems like she has an uncontrollable power hidden within her. So Babidi would use his magic trying to control her. At first it doesn't work, but Babidi would let her see her memories in her berserk power. Kale couldn't believe it, as she tortured Fasha. Babidi would tell her how Fasha left the planet because she was afraid of her power. Kale would hold her head, telling Babidi that that's a lie. The group wouldn't know what was happening with Kale. Shin would say how Babidi was trying to control her. Babidi would tell Kale how she was a monster, that she didn't know her own strength, a monster who only hurt the people close to her. Kale would begin to cry, but Babidi would begin to use his magic to start making her sadness into anger. She would begin to scream as her hair would turn green. A monstrous aura would start to surround her. She would start to bulk up in size, and everyone is confused on what the hell was happening with Kale. They all see as she transformed into her berserk form. Babidi is glad that his plan worked, but unfortunately for him, He couldn't control Kale due to her overwhelming power. Babidi would still use his magic to separate the group. He teleports Kale and Kaba to a wasteland and the rest to the tournament arena. Vegeta would fight Goku like normal, as Shin and Gohan would deal with Babidi. Kaba is a bit overwhelmed by Kale's overwhelming power. He tries speaking to her, but she charges straight at him. Kaba powers up to Super Saiyan 2 as he defends himself, but Kale would start to brutally beat down on Kaba. Every time Kaba lands a blow, it does little to no damage to her. While she is giving Kaba a beatdown of his life, Babidi is starting to get a lot of energy. Eventually, it's enough to unleash Majin Buu. Majin Buu would turn Dabura into candy, eating him. Gohan would have tried fighting Majin Buu, but he easily gets blasted away. Majin Buu was ready to kill Shin, but he gets kicked and was blown back. Majin Buu looks to see it's a green guy and a girl, but this was of course Piccolo and Khalifa. Due to Dabura dying, they were free from the stone. They're completely confused on what's happening. Before they can get any answers though, Majin Buu would start to attack them. Khalifa would transform into Super Saiyan 2 and Piccolo would use his full power. Kaba is in his base form completely bloodied and beaten. Kale would pick him up and she would start to crush his skull with her bare hands. Before she could do any significant damage, she would sense Majin Buu's power and she would just simply drop Kaba. She would fly off as Kaba is simply happy that he is still alive. He soon falls unconscious due to his injuries. Buu would be destroying both Piccolo and Khalifa. Buu would soon get blasted away as Kale had made it to the battlefield. Khalifa is confused to see this monster, but she can sense that this is Kale. She would ask Kale what happened to her, but Kale would just stare at Khalifa. She would simply raise her hand and would send a ki blast at Khalifa, sending her flying far away. Piccolo was surprised to see this, so he kinda just leaves, making sure that he wasn't next. Kale would focus on Buu and Babidi would thank her for her power, but he doesn't need her anymore. He tells Majin Buu to kill Kale. Both Kale and Buu would start to go at it and Kale easily destroys Majin Buu. She blows pieces off his body away. Of course, he is able to regenerate, but he starts to get angry. Every time he tries attacking her, his body gets torn apart by her. Buu would get too angry as he accidentally unleashed his evil counterpart. Evil Buu would start to attack Majin Buu as Kale is trying to kill both of them. Majin Buu couldn't handle all of this, so he decides to try to use his candy beam on his evil counterpart to steal his power, but Evil Buu just reflects the blast, turning Majin Buu into candy. Evil Buu would soon eat him, which he would soon form into Super Buu. Super Buu would acknowledge his strength, but soon would start fighting the Berserk Saiyan. He's surprised, even though with his great power, he's not even able to put a scratch onto Kale. Majin Vegeta would soon arrive to see Kale just beating down on Buu. As Kale keeps beating down on a Majin, she would start to feel something on her leg. She looks down to see it's a piece of Buu. She quickly was getting absorbed by Buu. Kale would start to power up as her aura alone was able to remove the pieces of Buu that was on her. But Buu would keep putting more and more on her. As it would start to get too much, she would eventually get absorbed by the Majin. Both Babidi and Majin Vegeta would look in shock as they can feel the power coming off of Buu. He starts to morph, getting Kale's clothes and power. Goku would eventually wake up to sense this type of power, and he's not sure if even fusion is strong enough to defeat this monster. If you guys did enjoy, why not like, comment, and subscribe? It's free, and you can always unsubscribe later. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great day. See ya!